Welcome to episode 9 of Covering Guts and Blackpowder lore. Today, we're finally covering Moscow!
What? What do you mean it's not Moscow? But the dev said so. And what about the sneak peek screenshots? This is not...
Welcome to episode 9 of Covering Guts and Blackpowder lore. Today, we'll be covering Copenhagen, the newest map in the game. Of course, the sources are these two Guts and Blackpowder wikis, and statements coming from none other than the devs themselves. Remember to join my Discord server for lots of Guts and Blackpowder game nights and more. We've actually beaten Copenhagen plenty of times already. Without further ado, let's begin. Copenhagen is of course the capital of the beautiful Denmark. However, it is a tricky one. You would think the map is based on the Second Battle of Copenhagen in 1807, since the British bombarded the city in that battle, same as we see inside the map. However, a newspaper lying around tells us otherwise. The newspaper dates July 7th, 1815, and this means this is the last map in chronological order and it takes place after Catacombs. You might be thinking, what the hell happened in Copenhagen? The city is burned down and pretty much falling apart. The reason for this is something I had already speculated. The city is under a quarantine. According to the wiki, 2 investigation ships from Vardo's fortress returned to Copenhagen, and upon arrival, there is a major outbreak of the Blight. The British Royal Navy intends to keep the city in a quarantine. Nobody gets in and nobody gets out. They believe the city to be fully under the control of the undead, and they use special rockets called Congreve rockets, which leave the city completely ablaze. Again, it appears the survivors of the Blight all around the world acknowledge that the zombies' weaknesses are fire. You, as the player, are stragglers of the Danish militia, trying to escape the city and leave quarantine, but of course that won't be easy. The players spawn in a house, where the bombardment of the city can already be heard and seen. They must make their way out the house and destroy a gate, but zombies spawn behind them. After that, they'll walk through many other obstacles, even including alternate routes depending on how many players are currently alive. They make their way through ravaged buildings and burning roofs, even having to descend ropes and having to put out fire in some attics. Yeah, this part is one of the hardest parts in Copenhagen. If your team doesn't know what they're doing at least. Afterwards, players must hold out inside of a worn down house against zombies from every side. And when the horde is dealt with, they must make their way to a bridge that is opened. Players jump on a passing ship to climb to the other side of the bridge. Now comes the final event of the map, and also my favorite. The players get inside a small boat with guns to the side and barricades that can be built by sappers in front for protection. As they sail down the river, zombies come from every side, trying to climb in the boat and kill all the survivors. And as this goes on, a British vessel appears at the end of the river. It opens fire on the players and must be destroyed in order for the map to end. The reason for the British attack is of course because we are in violation of the ordered quarantine. They want to take 0 risks with the infection, and who can blame them? Really, we are the bad guys in Copenhagen. Upon escaping the map in one life, you are rewarded with the most terrible night badge, and dying to the British ship gives you the Rule Britannia badge. And did you know Barry's voice actor returns to voice some soldiers on the British sloop? You think that was all? Oh, you silly goose, of course not. There are plenty of newspapers around the map, and these are very long and very complicated. I'll summarize them for you. If you want to read them fully, check out the Guts and Blackpowder wikis. Newspaper 1 explains how Prussia went downhill after Leipzig. The capital has fallen and the king evacuated to London. It supports my UK being a safe haven theory. Prussian troops sent to northwestern France, explaining the Prussian presence at the endless maps. It also explains a deal the UK has made with France. France is to give in Dutch territories in exchange for British military support. Then, it explains how Danish and English relations have soured. The UK expects Danish reinforcements to liberate Europe from the Blight, but the King of Denmark doesn't agree. And finally, it says Denmark is getting French support, and it interviews some soldiers who went to Vardo's fortress after its events to investigate. Newspaper 2. This newspaper interviews some survivors of Vardo's fortress, most likely after the investigation there. In Denmark, the Blight is called Sigdom, sickness, as Wellington called the Blight just some sort of plague, as mentioned in earlier episodes. The men who were interviewed are not happy and obviously traumatized, and then it's taken to what Louis Blaine, a French soldier had to tell about the events of the Endless Maps after he was evacuated somewhere safe off of the Dutch shore. Newspaper 3 is a bit more eerie though. It describes how Copenhagen prepared itself after the blight was sighted there. Civilians were ordered to avoid going outside, and men who were fit for combat should report to local militiamen. Copenhagen wasn't going down without a fight, but as seen by the map, we can tell how well this goes. And that's the end of the video. A lot of lore, don't you think? Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video.